the beginning of the story, we see a fisherman whose name is Circus. He is alone in his boat and is fishing by throwing a net. When a girl gets trapped in his net, he gets shocked to see that after all, it is a girl. Where did this girl come from here? Her name is Ondine. He sees that the girl is alive, so the circus brings her out of the net in a boat. She becomes unconscious, and water has gone into her body. The circus takes out the water from her body. Andine no longer believes that he is alive, but Circus reassures him and tells him that he is safe here. Circus is about to take him to the hospital, but Ondine refuses because she does not want to. When someone sees him, and he doesn't like to meet people, then Circus brings him to his house, which is on the seashore, where his mother used to live earlier. But now Circus lives alone in the house and gives some food to Ondine and goes away because he has to take his daughter to the doctor, whose name is Annie. Then Circus goes to his daughter. Actually, Circus has been divorced from his wife and she lives with her boyfriend, and Annie also lives with him. Circus keeps visiting his daughter Annie, whom he loved very much. He takes Annie to the hospital because Annie's kidney is bad and she lives in a wheelchair. She needs a kidney transplant, but till now she has not been able to find a donor, so Annie is undergoing dialysis. Dialysis is a treatment. When the kidneys stop working, water and impurities are removed from the blood. The doctor has left the hospital early today. That is why the circus is not able to meet the doctor. Annie is undergoing dialysis treatment. At that time, the circus tells a story to Annie in which a woman gets trapped in a fisherman's net. Annie says that woman was a magical Silky. Silky is a novel character who looks like humans but has some special powers. For example, she can breathe in the sea and can live with humans for up to 7 years if the humans bury their seal coats in the ground. Here, Annie today receives a motor vehicle chair from the hospital so that she can go anywhere on her own. Then the circus drops Annie home. Next morning, the circus finds Ondine washing clothes at a place and singing a song in a different language. Then the circus goes fishing in their boat. Ondine says that she also wants to go with him, but he says that there will be people there. She says that she will hide from them, then Circus takes her with him. Actually, Ondine had told Circus that he does not remember anything about himself. Who is she, and how did she come here in the sea? But Ondine remembered everything, but she does not want to tell anyone about it. Here, the circus throws a lobster pot into the water and catches a big prawn, but not a single prawn comes in his boat. But when Ondine starts singing, every pot catches prawns, and the mood of the circus changes. He is very happy because he had never caught so many prawns. The circus tells Ondine that you are lucky for me. After listening to your song, a lot of prawns got stuck in my pot today. After this, the circus was going to sell the prawns, and he asks her to come with him, but she refuses because she does not like to meet people. After this, the circus would sell the prawns, by which he gets money, and then he goes to a clothes shop and he buys a dress for Ondine. Then the owner of the store, whom Circus knows, asks him, for whom are you buying this dress? Your wife doesn't live with you. Circus lies to her that it is for Annie and she will wear it when she grows up. Here Circus was embarrassed to buy undergarments for Ondine, so he steals it. After this circus, Annie goes to pick up Annie from school. On the way home, the circus starts telling his story about the girl who came from the water, who can sing and call the fishes to her, and sings in a language that the circus has never heard before. Annie says that this is the language of Selkie. Now, Annie had to know more about that girl. After all, there is no Selkie anywhere else in reality. So she starts keeping an eye on her father, and also she starts getting interested in Selkie. And then the circus drops Annie home, and then after reaching home, Circus gives Ondine a new dress, which makes her very happy. Circus asks her how long she will stay here. She says it is up to the circus. Circus happily answers that she can live forever. On the other hand, Annie wanted to know more about the Selkie, so she brings many books written about the Selkie from the library. Here, the circus comes to the local priest for the church. Actually, the circus used to be a drunkard, but on the advice of the priest, he has stopped doing all this for some years. The circus confesses to the priest that he has stolen today, and also he tells him about the Ondine. He does not believe about it, but he tells the circus to steal again. One day, Ondine is bathing in the sea when Annie comes to him and says that I knew the story my father was telling was real. You are from the same cell. Annie asks her, do you have any power by which you can cure my disease? On this, Ondine says that she does not know. Annie says, I know that you people have a court which can be used if you land. Then you can live with humans for 7 years. Ondine says, you know a lot about this. She says, yes, I have read all this in the book. After this, Annie is going home. Then on the way she hears something. She meets the neighborhood kids and show her bicycles. Annie lets one of them play with her power wheelchair. He throws the chair in the standing water in the river and walks away. She doesn't say anything to him and shows off the power wheelchair. Next day, the circus brings Ondine out for fishing again. He also teaches her how to drive a boat. These two become good friends. One day, they are fishing together when the coastal guard comes to the circus boat. Seeing whom they come, he hides Ondine. But during checking, the guard sees Ondine, but she was hiding here on her own will, so they leave from here. After this, the circus goes to sell fish, and then both of them go to the port, where everyone misses Ondine because she is very beautiful. There is a man keeping an eye on Ondine from a distance. Looking at him, it seems as if he has been searching for her for a long time. He says to Circus that she doesn't want to stay in hiding anymore, so she goes out with him. Then they go for shopping, taking Annie with them, who helps Ondine buy and wear clothes while the townspeople watch from the shop window. Ondine finds it very strange to see the beautiful woman staring at him. One day, Annie comes near him and she plays with him in the seawater. Meanwhile, Ondine finds something like a bag from the water. Annie feels that it is her seal coat, so she asks him to bury it in the ground. Ondine also agrees to this, and both of them bury her near his house. Annie wants Ondine to stay here for 7 years. They both agree about this. They decide not to tell anyone because Ondine had also found a family and she did not want to leave from here, but the man who was looking for her is Ondine's husband. In fact, if her husband gets the seal coat, then he will get it. One day, Circus, Ondine, and Annie come to watch a boat competition. Annie asks Ondine if she can fulfill anyone's wishes. She refuses and says that she can't do it, but Annie had to test whether she was a sulky or not. So she gets up from the motor wheelchair and jumps into the water to test Ondine's ability to breathe underwater. Ondine jumps in to save her and brings her out. There is also a circus that brings Annie home, and her mother believes that Ondine is responsible for this incident, and she is angry. Her mother says that Ondine was found by a man who was asking about her. When circus takes place in the house where he tells Ondine that he used to work in the circus earlier, that is why he got the name Circus, and he is a fisherman and could not take care of Annie alone, so he had to give his daughter Annie to her mother. He is very sad. Then Ondine comes to him, kisses him, and they both go to bed. Both of them have now fallen in love with each other, and both of them want to live together, but Circus was afraid that Ondine might leave her. One night, when Circus was not at home, Ondine's husband comes to the house looking for her, seeing which she hides, and then seeing the opportunity, she goes away from here and hides herself. Later, when Circus comes to the house, he sees that the household things are scattered, and he does not find Ondine in the house. Then he starts looking for her. Then he finds her sitting in a place. She tells Circus that she is a Selkie, and she has a different world where she is married to someone, but her husband is not a good man, and her husband came here looking for her, and he wants to take her with him, but she wants to stay with the circus. Ondine says that if one of her wishes is fulfilled, then she will cure Annie. Circus also says that I also wish that you stay here. On the other hand, Annie, her mother, and her boyfriend are coming home by car. Her mother is driving, but she had drunk too much, and other side Ondine's husband has not found her at home. So he is driving in anger, and then his car meets with Annie's car in an accident, in which Annie's mother's boyfriend is killed. Circus and Ondine go to the hospital, where Annie and her mother are admitted, and here they learn that Annie's mother's boyfriend's kidney is matching with Annie's, and before dying, he had donated his kidney. Here in the hospital, Ondine's husband comes to meet Ondine alone. He asks her to come with him, and also tells that they cannot stay here, but she refuses to come with him. A few days later, the funeral of Annie's mother's boyfriend takes place, where Annie's mother tells Circus that he can keep Annie with him, as he is no longer in a condition to take care of her since the accident. She is on a wheelchair. Annie's mother says that only if he leaves the Ondine, he can keep Annie with him, because after the arrival of the Ondine, bad luck has come in his life. Circus does not want to do this, but because of his daughter, he thinks about doing this. He drinks too much at night and takes Ondine with him in a boat. The next morning, he leaves her at the lighthouse island. After this, Circus brings Annie to his home from the hospital. When she asks about Ondine, Circus tells her that Ondine has gone somewhere and will come back soon. When she is listening, a song is played, which Ondine used to sing. Hearing this, Circus realizes that she is not a Selkie, but a human like us. After this, he goes to the same island where he left Ondine. She is shivering from the cold. Circus goes to her and asks her to tell him who she is. On this, she tells that she is a human being like them. She was forced to do the work of drug smuggling, but one day, when she and her husband were carrying drugs from the sea. Then the police surrounded them from all sides. Then she ran away by swimming with a bag full of drugs, but her husband could not swim, so she was caught by the police. After some time, she drowned in the water, and after a long time, she was found by the circus in the net. After this, the circus brings the girl back to Annie's, where Ondine's husband is at home, and he has a friend. Both of them have guns. They ask for a seal coat from him. The bag Ondine found inside contains drugs that he has come to collect. Then Ondine takes them to the place where Annie and he had buried them earlier, but Annie had already removed them, so they do not find anything. Then Ondine's husband threatens to kill them. Then Annie says that she hide in the boat. They then go into the boat. Ondine remembers that his husband can't swim. Ondine's husband stands on a rope. She pulls him and makes him fall into the water, and the circus makes another man fall into the water, after which the police catch both of them, and the police also catch Ondine because she is also not from this country, but soon they release her. It is given that after a few days, Circus and Ondine get married, and then Annie and both of them live happily together. With this, the movie ends here.